What's up, Code Fam? Back by popular demand, it's your boy, Tico Tepsarinton. I'm making this video for the hashtag CS24_Tico channel, the group that I was so privileged to be a TL for. By popular demand from Obeda and from Jade, I wanted to make this video to show y'all how to get greener GitHub contribution maps. Boom, we're gonna check this out. First, I just wanna say, before you start messing around with this repo that my friends Nick Canariato and Brandon Gardner so graciously made for people, I would highly suggest that you merge any and or all PRs before doing this on all of your fork repos. Catherine Rhodes and I went through a journey of a time figuring that out firsthand. So avoid the same mistakes we've made and make sure that you go through all of your fork repos. Make sure that there are no open issues on them, meaning make sure that all of the PRs have been merged on them all, because essentially you will only get a greener GitHub contribution map if the commits that you made were originally on the master branch or the default branch. And so essentially, if you have a forked repo, you're a student at Lambda School, usually the Lambda Git flow is that you have a first name dash last name branch that has branched off of master that you've been working on for that module, right? And so what you need to do is you need to merge that PR, create a new PR, merge it into master. And then once you've done that, then proceed with the steps that we're gonna go through right now, which, let's see, I'm gonna share my screen here. The first step you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna head to the repo site, which is github.com/nickcanariato/spoon. I'll drop the link to this repo in the description of the video. And essentially, Nick and my friend Brandon, they came up with this awesome script to help their fellow Lambda students get their GitHub contribution calendar looking super green. Yeah, that's super green, right? I mean, I should have more of these dark green ones, but I have a lot of light green ones. But essentially, you're gonna first thing you're gonna want to do is I would say you're gonna need two pieces of information in order to run those scripts. The first thing you're gonna need is your GitHub handle. Obviously, mine would be Tico Teps, right? You don't need, you just need your GitHub handle. And the second piece of information that you'll need, if you go to the top right of your page, you'll click on your GitHub profile avatar, you'll scroll down and go to settings. And then from here, you'll scroll down and you'll go over to the left and click developer settings. And then you'll click personal access tokens on the left there. And basically, these will allow you to have access to your GitHub information, API information. And so the only thing about these personal access tokens that you need to be aware of is as soon as you generate a new token, it'll display it on the screen and then you won't ever see it again. So I highly suggest you copy and paste it to a text editor or a sticky notes app or something, because you're not gonna have access to it again. Nice thing is that you can generate a new token. So, okay, so after you do that, you're gonna go back to this the Spoon repo, and the reason why they call it Spoon is because it's the anti-fork. So clever, Nick and Brandon. It's the anti-fork, right? Because it turns all of your forked repos into personally imported repos, where you would get credit for all commits made to the master branch. So that's why we talked about earlier, making sure that any open PRs are either closed or they're merged into master. So all of those commits that you made on that first name hyphen last name branch that are merged into master, you will get credit for those, and your GitHub contributions calendar will look more green than it's ever looked. Otherwise, when you create a fork on a repo and you submit commits to it, I think you only get one commit, I believe, for forking the repo. But any commits after that, I'm not sure if you get if you get they get counted. You have to click this learn how we count contributions link to find out more. Okay, so after you come back over to this repo here, you're going to want to clone the repo. So I usually do that just by clicking this clone or download button. Then I will use the HTTPS method, and I'll click this little clipboard icon here, and that copies it to the clipboard. And then you're gonna come back over to your terminal. And as you see here, I already have it put in the terminal there. You're gonna do a git clone and then paste in the copied link from your clipboard into your terminal. And then you're gonna CD into the terminal. You're gonna open up, sorry, you're gonna CD into that file, not the terminal, you're in the terminal already, sorry. You're gonna CD into the file, and then you're gonna open up that repo. And this is what you should see. You should see a spoon.js file, package.json, yarn.lock, license, drawer.js. I don't believe you will see a backups.json. This is only created after running the first script. So there's going to be two scripts you're going to run. The first one is called spoon.js. Second one is called drawer.js. Spoon.js will essentially create a copy of all of your forked repos, and it will name that copy. It will name your forked repos with an extension of -VAK, I believe. Either way, I just know that it creates a copy of your fork repos. So if you head back over to your GitHub repositories page, I want you to take note of the number of repos you have. So I have 156, as you can see there at the top. If I go over here and I filter only for forks, I can see that I have 37 forks or fork repos. So the increase in repos that I should see would be 156 original repos plus the 37 copies that are made. So that would be 193 repos that I should see here in this window after I've run the spoon.js script, okay? So we're gonna walk through this step by step. After you've run this spoon.js script, you're gonna go back over, you're gonna confirm again, you're gonna make sure that the number of total repositories you have is equal to that number subtracted, or is equal to the original number if you subtract the number of fork repos, okay? All right, then after you made your copies, you're gonna head over to drawer.js, and this is the script that will essentially delete all of the copies that you made. Now, copying over those original fork repos is like a safety mechanism, prevents, like if something bad happens, the script breaks, which Nick and Brandon have told me that if you have more than 100 forked repos that you're trying to convert into personally imported repos, you may or may not experience some issues when doing that. So I highly suggest you you filter out repos so that the number of forked repos is less than 100, and you can do that in the spoon.js script, or you just already have less than 100 forked repos and you probably won't have issues, okay? All right, so first thing you're gonna wanna do after that whole overview, first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna head over to your terminal, and you're gonna want to yarn or yarn install. And you're gonna wanna run that command in the terminal. That will install all of the packages in the package.json. And then after that, you're gonna wanna go into the .gitignore, and you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a .env or that the .env files are gonna be untracked, because you don't wanna be pushing your GitHub personal access token to GitHub. Don't wanna do that. That'd be a bad idea. So yeah, first thing you need to do after you run a yarn install or yarn is you're gonna want to go to the .gitignore. You wanna make sure .env is in there. so that it untracks that file. And then we're going to create a .env file right there in the root directory of that folder. And if you notice here, I've taken out my actual personal access token here. So you're going to create you're going to create an environment variable called ghkey. You're going to set it equal to that personal access token that you got from developer settings, personal access tokens. After you generate a new token here, like I said, it'll display it one time for you. Make sure you've already copied it. So you probably already have it somewhere on a sticky note or, or on in a text editor. So basically you just want to paste that in there. After you pasted that in there, you're going to head over to you're going to open the spoon.js file. And let's read this together here. And the script has been designed to use your provided GitHub API key and procedurally replace your forks with repos that you own. This provides you with all of your commit contributions that you may have missed out on. The creators of this are not responsible for any errors that you may make by altering the script. Please do not use the drawer script until you're positive that your backup forks and new repositories are made. Now, notice that it says backup forks and new repositories. So that's why you're going to have an increase in the number of repos on your repositories page. And then I'd also added this in here. It would be a really good idea to make sure that any unmerged PRs in your forked repos are merged before running the script, as Catherine Rhodes and I found out so awesomely, right? Okay, so those two pieces of information that we talked about you're going to need are your GitHub API access token or personal access token, and then your GitHub handle. As you can see here, this did not say Tico Teps before. Sorry, let me see. Command Z back. So with the original master branch of this repo, they just have fake user here. So that's just a prompt for you to put in your GitHub handle there, right? And mine is Tico Teps. So that's what I put there. You do need the quotation marks there because it's a string. And then here, process.env will be importing your environment variable from your .env file, and then it's going to run the script. That's all you need. You can thank Nick and Brandon after you make your GitHub contributions map greener. They would probably appreciate it if you gave them a shout out, maybe on maybe in Slack or or Twitter or something. But essentially here we got a few steps. So the first step is this says that this function fetch repos is going to grab a list of all your current forked repos. If there aren't any that you don't want to fork or defork, sorry, you'll need to filter them out manually after initial filtering. So after it filters these, it's going to take those filtered repos and it's going to generate a list of all of those fork repos with appended names to include -BAK. I'm assuming Brandon or Nick didn't want to write BACK. It'd be too many steps. So they just went with a -BAK, which is cool. That's totally cool. But you'll notice that a backups.json file will be created over here in your root directory. That will hold an array of all of your forked repos and the information for each one. You can go in there and manually remove the ones that you don't want to defork, like they talked about in the first step up here, okay? Step 3, we rename the current forked repos on GitHub. So they're gonna essentially take the information from the array in backups.json. It's gonna add this -BAK extension to the end of the name. You'll see that as soon as you run the scripts and you go to your repositories page, you will notice the increase in the total number of repositories you have. And then you'll also notice that you will have duplicates for any forked repos, and the duplicates will have a -BAK on them, okay? Okay, so we're gonna head back over here. Let's see, step 4, we generate all new repos using the array of forked repo names. So That I believe is the array that's in this backups.json file. And it is going to create those repos, and you'll see that increase in your GitHub repositories page. Step 5, we make a request to GitHub import endpoint for each repo using the information from our -BAK amended array. This could take a while, yes. Step 6, you should now have all new repos with the original names and all of your -back repos that are still forked. Please proceed to drawer.js only if this is true. So the -BAK signifies that this is like a forked backup in case things go wrong. And yeah, so the way that you would run this script, spoon.js, is you just head over here to your terminal and you're gonna run it just like any other script. You're gonna put node in first, space, the name of the file, spoon.js, okay? And mine obviously won't run because right now in my .env file, I have this instead of my actual personal access token. So it's not gonna run properly. It's gonna say that the credentials aren't correct. So if I run that, you'll see, notice there it says credentials were essentially, yeah, I don't have the correct credentials. Yeah, so that's because I didn't put the actual access token in there. So make sure you do that. Then, like step 6 talked about, you're gonna proceed over to the drawer.js file. And once again, tongue in cheek, Nick and Brandon made it. So the name of the repo is spoon, because you're trying to, because it's the anti-fork, right? You're anti-forking these forks. And then drawer.js, I'm assuming is like you're closing the drawer. You're done with the the whole spooning process, if you will. So like we talked about earlier, this drawer.js file will essentially delete all of those backups that are marked with the -BAK, right? It says, welcome to the drawer. Please do not run the script if you have not confirmed all of your repos were successfully created and imported. This script deletes all of the repositories we marked as forked that are found in the backups.json file. If you do not want a repository deleted, please remove the object from the backups.json file. This is not reversible. This is not reversible. Not is capitalized. Notice that, please, ladies and gentlemen. I believe the only thing here, you don't even have to change anything in this file because essentially the only piece of information that you'll need is your GitHub key or your API key, which will be imported using process.env, just like it was for spoon.js. So once you run this file, you should notice that it will delete all of the backups that will show up in here that have the -BAK extension on the name. And then you should be good to go. That's all. I hope this video finds you well. I hope it helps you in your process to get endorsed and to have a greener GitHub heat map so you can look more impressive to employers. Thanks for watching, team. We will see you next time. Deuces.